Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with your other host,
Satish Ram, who is tired of talking today.
Yes, so we decided, you know what, let's talk for another hour.
The
okay,
things I do for you.
Thank you. So yeah, basically what we have here is we have 2 episodes of Steven Universe, right? Season 2, episodes 3 and 4. Matt Marrero and Satish Ram as Those Guys. We're playing the catch-up game. Those Guys on the radio. So, yeah. So here we are. Yes, 3 and 4. We've mentioned, like, the whole, you know, if you're new to us, we'll just be very brief. So, you know, they created Steven Universe, made some episodes in a certain order, as many different shows do, right? Production order versus airing order, and they were aired a certain way. We're going with the air date because that's just how it is. You know, that's how it came to us, and that's that. So today, our episodes 3 and 4 are Joyride and Say Uncle. That's how it is. If you have a problem with that, you could totally listen to half of one of our other shows and then the other half of this one. We would love that. Or you can just listen to the whole show. You know, I mean, I'm only saying this, you know, for people that have been listening, they just like, oh, yeah, that's just what they're doing. But I think that there's some other people that I hope would be jumping in, you know, new listeners, new fans, and just going, wait, no, but 3 is this and 4 is that. It's like, yes, some areas will list it as this and this because of the production order, but they aired in a certain way and they fit that way. You know, if they were completely canon-destroying, then I get it, but they weren't.
Don't worry.
So
one of these episodes isn't canon.
We have a canon. And we still have a canon anyway. But sadly, it destroyed my ship.
Yeah, I thought that was a cute little thing.
It took me a very long time to get that joke. The whole that
really
it destroyed
good,
the ship.
Wasn't it? Yeah,
yes,
the canon
it was like, my
destroyed
ship.
the ship. It was like, you pricks.
I know, it was beautiful.
Really good writing.
Yeah, it might actually, it's crazy to say this, I think Say Uncle is my favorite out of these 2.
Well, I'm not going to blame you for that. I think both episodes had superb writing.
Yes, of course. Most definitely. I mean, we start off with Joyride, and I think it was very nice to have us continue literally in a the idea that for some reason we've had Steven Universe certain episodes continue right after, like you know, one episode happened. So it was really fun, I think, to just have it still continue. Like, hey, yeah, we're still. I mean, I think some time passed, and that's why Steven is kind of like, we're still cleaning up, but still, I mean, yeah, they're still cleaning up. They didn't skip that. That's still happening.
So we're doing Joyride first? I just want to confirm here.
Because Joyride,
cool.
Yes, Joyride came out first, then Say Uncle came out. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool, wonderful.
Yeah, so it's really nice to see it pick up right from where it left off again. And yeah, we're kind of just watching Joyride, and we get to see Beach City at night again, which is nice.
I think it was fun for me because I really enjoy the teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're generally fun characters.
Also, they're good people.
Yeah, like, I enjoy the fact, I loved, there were some wonderful one-liners in this episode, but I really enjoyed the idea when, you know, they went to go see him in the day. And they were like, hey, you know, why don't you come with us? And it's like, no, I like squares. It's like, but that's the point. We balance out our cynicism, man. And I love it because I sit there, I'm like, I totally get that, like, about this show in general. Like, Steven Universe balances out my cynicism, and I really appreciate that. I think this one had 2 of my favorite lines of the entire show, and they're both from Buck Dewey. This episode?
Yes.
One of them, before speaking, I just wanted to see you laughing in the pizza rain. And the second one being, that was great. It's like, is that a reference I don't get? And he just smiled.
I know.
And the second one was, you know, when he's talking about his dad, he's just like, at least your dad's on one thing. My dad's on my case all the time. And I'm like, you can't talk to me like that, Dad. I'm the mayor's son. And I always laughed at that line because I think hands down, it's part of him being who he is, like that slow, cool kind of guy.
Yes.
So him delivering, like, the Pizza Rain line works really well because it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Sour Cream's, like, just let him be a DJ. Like, that works because it's him. Like, it was really superb writing.
My favorite line of the episode is, "Come on, aren't you your own mom?"
Which is also from Buck Dewey.
Yes, so that's my favorite line of the episode. Come on, aren't you your own mom?
I can do anything. And I was dying because it's like, he's got a point.
There's an interesting theme in this episode that we're doing here, because you look at Steven's his own mom, and there's also an uncle grandpa, which apparently, according to Garnet, makes a lot of sense.
I loved that they slid that line in. It was such a jackass thing to do.
Yeah, I know. It's like, wow, how did you guys get that through?
And for anyone who didn't get it, it's an incest joke. But
it's weird. Not that necessarily. It's a joke on the fact that medically, right? I'm going to bring the medical facts here.
Yes,
medically,
it would
that
not
does
be
cause.
it
can cause
defects.
It's a higher risk, I'll say, because you can still have defects, if you're not related. But with the general mixing that we've done in society, but yes, there are higher risks, which is why you also always see those jokes.
We've done in society.
No,
but that just sounded really funny to me.
Well,
with
yeah,
the general mixing we've done, that dastardly genetic mixing. Oh.
Cuban and Puerto Rican, and I love many women of all the. What are we doing here?
That dastardly mixing.
Are we going to bring politics in again? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we have to do tonight?
No,
I don't think
not at all.
Even though it's the mayor's son.
I love that so much, though. I'll never get over that line. I'm sorry.
I only bring it up, though, because I think even Gravity Falls, no, not Gravity Falls, but I know that there's been other shows that have also made that joke, though, that also I think it's been for kids, I believe. The idea, like, it'll be subtle or something. It's like, oh, yeah, the Duke of such and such. And they're just like, hello, and, like, in a wheelchair. Because, yeah, after years and years and years of inbreeding, that'll happen.
You said the Duke, and for some reason I thought of Mayor Befufflefumter from Gravity Falls.
Yeah, me too. That's why I was like, it has to be, but I was like, no, it's not Gravity Falls.
But he's dead now,
he was just
so
old.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yes. Spoiler alert, thanks, jackass. But anyway.
He's in a better place now. Bermuda.
I was like, yeah, where the fuck is he going with it?
Bermuda's a nice place.
But yeah, I really did enjoy a lot of this episode, story-wise. First off, I enjoyed that we learned that it was the mayor's son, because I'm pretty sure up until this point we did not know who he was.
No, we did, because if you remember the first time they meet them, they're driving in the car past the mayor, and he makes a comment about his dad.
Oh,
he's like, I wish he loved me like that. I wish he would kiss me like that. Remember he's kissing babies?
Right.
Yeah, and he's like,
never kissed like that as a baby.
Like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. But what we did actually, on that topic, what we did get confirmed in this episode was that Fisherman Guy is Sour Cream's stepdad.
Yes.
So Sour Cream, this is the confirmation that Sour Cream and Onion are stepbrothers. And
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that makes sense. The fact that it's like sour cream, onion, yes.
Yeah, sour cream, onion. And also it's just great. He's like, yeah, my dad's always like, wah, 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 wah. And I'm like, that's both a Charlie Brown joke and also a fact that he talks like that.
I know, it's beautiful. Okay, so here's something I want to bring up. All right, so what I like is I mentioned seeing Beat City at night, right? Again, the reason why that's relevant is because I think I mentioned this when we had the whole Alone Together episode. We really, while we'll see other people talking about Steven and Steven won't be in the shot, the world still works through Steven's eyes. Through Steven's eyes, technically. So we're never really going to see Beat City at night, the nightlife, things like that. So it's really cool to see Steven interacting with the teenagers of Beach City and having them be like, hey, come on, let's go out. Because we're never really going to get to see that unless they do some kind of time skip, which I wouldn't be opposed to, but a time skip or something. And even then, Steven would probably be more so training in the desert rather than partying it up as a teenager. So it's very interesting to see how, to see the nightlife of Beach City, and especially with these teenagers who, I'm really happy that, so everyone has their different experiences and their problems, and no one really should belittle them, even if they don't seem as relevant to every, thing that's going on in the world that affects the world completely. But it's still nice to have these teenagers hear Steven's problems and kind of get a perspective and be like, wow.
I really like that scene because,
yes.
They get to voice their problems, and they are dealing with a lot of crap. But in their world, and then perspective is the perfect word right there. Because they get perspective, and it's like, my God, wow, I'm so sorry.
But of course that in no way means that I think anyone, because I think there's a huge issue, working with teenagers myself, is a huge issue with people saying, but their problems don't mean anything. Because look at I have to pay a mortgage, you just can't find a significant other,
Yeah,
I have to,
Yeah, and you know this, so I don't need to explain it to you, of course. But, you have to think about the scope of life at the time. Like, you only know as upset as you can possibly get. Like, you don't know what it feels like to lose somebody death-wise that you love until you lose somebody that you love. So you don't know what that problem's like. So if you don't have that problem until, age 20, your biggest problem might be not finding a partner because it meant you didn't fit in high school and it meant you didn't have friends.
Exactly. Little stuff like that. And even then, it could be the exact opposite. You do have a lot of friends. Maybe you just can't, it's high school. Usually you don't really find the person you're going to be with forever. But still, again, problems like that to certain, to adults, it's just, that's just so stupid. That isn't. And of course, that's a good thing to do. Put down people for their problems. So we're not going to sit here and say, their problems mean shit compared to Steven's real world death problems. Like, no, but it is good to kind of get that perspective and see different points of view and see, wow, we do have problems, right? We do have some emotional stuff going on. But, man, Mayor Dewey's kid was literally, not even Mayor Dewey, the pizza girl. I can't remember her name. Kiki, thank you, yes. Yeah, she's just saying, man, my sister sucks because she wants me to help her with her homework. And it was just like, yes, that is true, right? Annoying siblings can be annoying. Love you guys. Annoying siblings can be annoying, but...
I hope they're listening.
Probably. Love them. But, happy Thanksgiving. I'm saying that for Thanksgiving.
You're going to see them in a week in real time.
I am, yeah. But, I just feel like we're real time catch up, by the way. Wait, in real time? When are they doing this? Exactly. I do feel like it is nice to see, for them all to look at Steven and be like, wow, because I think the phrase, I think they resent me for my mom not being around was the one that really hit me. Because it's so not true, but it really hit me. With all these other... No, he doesn't realize it. So it's like, ow, my heart.
Yeah, because he's never voiced that on the show to date.
No.
So that's why it hurts really bad, because...
I can see where he's coming from, but again, it's not real.
Yeah, but he's a kid, and he's never been able to talk to them about it. And granted, they probably wouldn't talk to him about it.
Unless really, even if asked, they'd say, oh, no, of course not. But even then, they might think, let's change let's change what's the conversation instead of actually addressing it. Even though it's not true, they really don't want to mess up. And you can tell that sometimes they're not wanting to mess up, they mess up further. Because they're still learning, and you can tell by the end of the episode, they're still learning as guardians/parents. They're still really trying to learn how to do this whole thing.
Exactly, and they've mentioned that more than once.
Oh yeah, but so moving on. Okay, getting into the whole spaceship thing, because we saw the pod and everything. I'm a huge fan of the whole matter that is water-like but breathable concept. We've seen it in a lot of different media, I'm just always a huge fan of it, like a huge, huge fan. So that's one trope that I can never just be bored of.
That's good. I thought it was funny. When I first saw it, I laughed because I'm like, it's like toothpaste.
Oh, no, my first thought was Dragon Ball Z because of those healing pods.
Oh, that's very smart. Good on you for that.
Yeah. I can't think of what else. I know that Dragon Ball Z had the healing pods. I don't think... No, G Gundam did not have that, I think. Although it may have. I know G Gundam had the spandex. Literally, like the, oh boy, that span. Like, I watch Power Rangers Super Sentai Kamen Rider stuff, and I'm like, oh boy, the spandex.
Oh boy, that's spandex. That is some spandex right there.
No, you don't understand, dude. You have to go back and rewatch the opening for G Gundam.
I would gladly do it for you.
What? Oh, okay, thank you.
I would gladly do it for you.
I thought you said, I'm glad they do it. I'm like, what? I was like,
I'm
really
glad they do it for you. Do you know something I don't? I do.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No, but anyway. So yeah, what's it called? So yeah, G Gundam didn't do it. Evangelion did it a little bit. I think Pacific Rim did as well because Evangelion did it. And as we know, Del Toro is a huge fan.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of any other anime I could think of that are like, hey, the whole, breathable, but still, quote-unquote, water.
Yeah, because I laugh
because
it's like, in my head, it's like, it's fluoride. It's freaking toothpaste to keep the gem clean. So it's healing powder goo thing. But it's so interesting to me that, okay, when you see it in the scenes where Steven is inside, it's very, very liquid-like in terms of, the density and the type of water. But when you see Garnet crack it open, it has more of a toothpaste, goo to it.
I think because it met with the air.
Perhaps that's it.
I love that this is where we are right now, where it's just, let's talk about the scientific properties. Well, when it meets air.
Right.
But yeah. No, but seriously, I do think that that's probably what it was. So yeah. Oh, by the way, so I was freaking out. Like I remembered it happening, but I literally wrote in all caps just, "No, you're gonna kill Steven."
Yeah, it was really funny. Like, okay, they like to mess with us a lot because we know they're not going to kill Steven here, right? But
right,
I love that they incorporate, that's Peridot in there. She might be weak. Let's not hold back at all. Like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, of course, because, we know it's not going to happen, but you still have to put on, okay, basically it's the same way where, we'll look at professional wrestling, let's say, right? And we'll watch WWE and we'll say, okay, look, we know who's going to win, but at least make it seem apparent that the other guy has a chance. Or that the other person, the girl has a chance, instead of just, oh, well, that was completely one-sided. Yeah, but so it was nice to see that in a weird way, and yeah, I was freaking out because I was like, no, because I have to admit, if you really think about being in Steven's shoes, that's a scary situation. I know we're watching it from the outside, so we're like, oh, whatever. We know, some people might be like, oh, Steven's not going to die, whatever. This is useless. If you really imagine yourself in a situation where they don't know that it's you, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because Steven probably would have been punched into the sun.
He can't talk.
Yes.
He's talking, but nobody hears him at all.
Yeah, so Steven probably would have been punched into the moon or something. Because Garnet was ready to just knock him out.
I think you said the first time.
I did.
And then you said the moon, and I'm laughing because I feel like they're just consistently getting worse. Just like, she's going to punch into Jupiter.
Wait, no, dude, to me it's the opposite. The sun burns you up. The moon is like, at least I'm there. What?
No, yeah, the sun is further and also death.
Yeah, they're getting nicer. The sun, the moon, maybe Antarctica.
Chicago.
Well,
Chicago.
apparently, no. Chicago, Antarctica, we're in sync. We're still in sync as always.
Chicago, Antarctica. Now we need to go claim a bit of Antarctica and name it Chicago, or else we're going to get
bring in
hurt.
some people from Chicago.
Can we get a Chicagoian podcaster?
We can try.
Let's do that. I like that. Let's talk to someone from Chicago.
All right, Chicagoian. Great. I'll look that up.
Preferably not a Cubs
Chicagoian.
fan, because they'll hate me.
I think that's better. That's better. I was going to say television, and I'm like, no, Matt, you speak to people.
Yeah, go for it.
Something I want to mention. So we don't mention these a lot because, we usually do when we do our WWE Monday Night Raw podcast, but we don't really mention it on Steven Universe. I don't really think we need to start. But I do want to mention something that really caught my eye while I was looking up episode titles and when they aired. So Joyride and Say Uncle, right? Joyride got a 1.34. Joyride airing on March 26, 2015. We mentioned that we're in November now. Really catching up here. Say Uncle, the Uncle Grandpa crossover, got 1.93 million. And it's actually almost the highest episode until we see Sworn to the Sword.
Which is much later down the line, right?
Sort of. I mean, yeah. Well, Sworn to the Sword was in June, so I think that's when they were starting their. Yeah, that's when they were starting their Steven bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So I will admit, you could think of it also, people getting off of school. I mean, in April, if you're going to say that college students are not the majority, but that college students are a big part of the fan base.
Which I believe
people are in college. Yeah, people are in college, and April, right around May. I mean, I don't know where you are in the U.S., but for you and I, April's basically a hell month, just like how November, December kind of is, because classes end in May. I'm correct in saying that, right? Yeah.
Classes
so
do
June 15th.
So finals are May.
Yeah. So June 15th, I assume good time to get everyone in for Sworn to the Sword, much later on. But for right here, March 26th for Joyride, not so much. But somehow Say Uncle really gets to bring in, like, I know how you and I were saying, we're not really big fans of Uncle Grandpa.
Well, I think it brought in the crossover audience. We
really did.
This on our own, because I swear to you, all jokes aside, I know I've told you this, I could have sworn that we did this on air, and I think it was because...
I checked.
I believe
the way
you.
we talk. No, I don't believe me either.
Yeah.
I had to check just now before we went on.
Because
I was still convinced.
So in depth that I was sure that we had discussed Say Uncle on air, which we will be doing in like 5 minutes. But I think it's funny that, because we spent so much time discussing it pre-episode and then during, after we had watched it, and it was like, hey, it wasn't that bad. And then after we watched it again, it was like, okay, we can live with this.
Yeah, what has happened, too, is that I think we planned some shows that didn't work out, so that might have also been a factor. But, what I think happens is that, as we talked about before, we started doing this stuff, podcasting, whatever, because we really just thought, hey, we talk on the phone, sometimes on a nightly basis for an hour or two about things, why not just...
Usually longer. Honestly.
Sometimes longer, yeah. We'll switch between a multitude of topics is the thing. So why not just actually just talk about something for an hour, maybe 2 hours at most? So that's our mindset right now. So why not just podcast about the damn thing? So, right, we kind of just sit back and we're just like, yeah, so we'll talk about it on the air. And then what happened was, we polished ourselves, I would argue. I know, we stutter or, I say but I just did it. We polished ourselves in a way where we'll have normal conversation and we'll trick ourselves. Memory's a tricky thing. You can be tricked into remembering a lot of things that never happened. It's memory's a tricky thing. So we've convinced ourselves that, that in-depth analysis that we did on the phone, using some of the same phones that we use to podcast, right? That's how we can do it. Yeah,
we messed ourselves up there.
Completely. No, because I still, before the show began, I looked again just to be safe.
I'm glad you did, because, I would have honestly, and it's not that I don't believe you, it's that I really felt like we discussed this.
No,
I was watching I don't remember discussing.
What? Joyride, you don't remember?
Yeah, I don't remember doing.
No,
so I
me
felt
neither.
pretty comfortable. Okay, we probably did
so
not.
So watching Say Uncle, I just imagined us making quips, or me making quips, and you laughing at said quips. And I was like, wait, no, that was just you and I.
Yeah, it's a crazy thought. But yeah, no, swinging back to what was Joyride, I did like it a lot. I really liked the resolution of, like, the teenagers being able to bring some humanity to them in terms of the gems. Like, hey, remember that Steven's under a lot of pressure, and he's still a kid, no matter what you think.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as a way to wrap everything up before we move on to the next episode. Really happy that happened because, as I mentioned earlier, and you did too, we really like these teenagers. We really like the teenagers of Beach City. So it's really nice to kind of have them really stick up for Steven because, I think, even though they mentioned the whole, teenage cynicism kind of thing, it's still nice to see that they really have a bond with Steven. They care about him, and they know that, look, he's under a lot of pressure, and they really get that. So when the gems were basically about to punish him, I'm really happy that the show kind of stepped in, because I think this show really does do both. Like, it gives you a perspective as well, just as a show, where it's like, hey, if Steven deserved it, he would have gotten punished. It's not the whole, like, oh, no, this show airs on a kid network, so we have to make the kid always right.
Yeah,
it doesn't do that.
Talked about it. I mean, he makes mistakes, and he gets punished for them. But he's also a special kid.
Yes. No, but I do enjoy that, he's been punished for them, and then vice versa. We've seen some of the punishments be a little bit too harsh or something or another, and then they haven't happened or
He
or
was
whatever.
banned for TV for like 1,000 years.
I am still surprised they went through with that. I thought that was a one-off joke they were never going to mention again. And
it made me happy because Connie's mom was happy with it. Connie's mom,
yes, she was.
Nice use of because we care about you or because we love you right there. And I was like, God damn it.
Oh, man. But no, I do think it's nice in the middle. I don't think it, leans to one side or the other. Yes, it is for children, of course, quote-unquote for children, and it's on Cartoon Network. So, yeah, they're going to want to lean a bit, they might want to, but I don't think they do it as often as someone would say, where it's just like, oh, yeah, so the kid gets off free. It's like, well, he did do something wrong, but he really did need some time to just loosen up and have fun. And had they let him have fun a bit more, he probably would have been a bit more diligent. And he wouldn't have waited so long.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, you think, and they open up the episode with a really good, lead into that, because you open up, what is he doing? He's working.
Yeah, exactly.
He's cleaning up all the remnants from stuff. And it's implied that, he's just been doing a lot of crap.
Just been doing a lot of that. Just cleaning up remnants.
Yeah, because it's their job.
Yeah. Okay, so we move on to Say Uncle. And as I mentioned earlier, nearly 2 million viewers. Even the season finale, Jailbreak, did not get that much. Going up the list, actually, Story for Steven got that, but it actually aired after Say Uncle, so it doesn't count, even though it's on the season 1 list. So when you really scroll up, they haven't had 2 million since Winter Forecast.
That was a beautiful episode.
Yes, and they were consistently having 2 million on and off for a bit. I know it's consistently on and off, yes, because 1 week is 167 for Horror Club, but then the next is 2 million. I'm going higher on the list, so next meaning earlier. On the Run, Future Vision, both having 2.3 and 2.8. So, it's really interesting to think that, wow, thank you, Uncle Grandpa. You really brought, no problem. You really brought in the ratings. Thanks.
And
I would be so. No, I was gonna say I'd be so mad if it's just basically he just you just have a flash to different Nielsen homes in America, and it's just different Uncle Grandpas in different homes. Thank you.
I
did you picture that? Is that why you were?
Yeah, no, I started thinking about it again. I'm like, yeah, I was there for all this Uncle Grandpa stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was a good episode, actually, which is funny. It really was.
Again, I have to admit, a lot of it is, a lot of it is based on the writing, too. I think this had a lot of
You mean
really,
Steven Universe
writers. Yes, this specific episode.
Nothing against Uncle Grandpa, but, I'm not a big fan of the show itself, and I tried watching it, and it hasn't really appealed to me. But them them, I don't know, just the way Steven Universe writers, and hell, maybe even Uncle Grandpa writers, because they had more freedom, right? The way it came out worked very, very well, and it was hilarious. And I'm not saying that every episode of Steven Universe should be like this in terms of being meta, but I do think that every episode of Uncle Grandpa should be. And of course it is meta, but I think the way it's meta, I don't know, it doesn't really appeal to me the way this episode's meta did. And not even referring to Steven Universe references, just the way Uncle Grandpa spoke was really funny to me, and then I'll see the show and it doesn't connect. It's not the same.
Yeah, I assume that it is I haven't seen much of the regular show.
Okay.
But
we're talking about Uncle Grandpa, not regular show.
Yes. I haven't seen much of... No, it was good. I haven't seen much of Uncle Grandpa, and I don't think I plan on it, based on what I've seen. Just being, Now, yes. So when this episode was coming around, I was pretty nervous, because I was like, oh, God, this is going to suck. And I think it went a lot better than I expected. Watching it now, I think, because when I first watched it, it was at the air date, and I was very much, I was poisoned with the idea of this is going to be bad, and I wasn't looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was better than I thought it was going to be. It did have a lot of good jokes. I liked the fact that they immediately were like, hey, none of this is canon. And it had a lot of fun to it. I think if I laid back and I caught it when I was in a good mood, it was better than I thought it would be.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't think I think, while I wasn't as pessimistic about it as you, I of course sat there and thought, oh God, because you and I hear crossover where, like, Gravity Falls, right? So that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's just like, no, Uncle Grandpa. And because we don't know much about the show, we don't realize that he really can be a multi-universe, multiverse, dimensional, blah, 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 travel through different space and time. We didn't really know much about him in that way. Now that we do know that he can be like that, it makes more sense to us, I think. That too, by the way, just really like actually thinking about it, the way they explained it in their Steven Universe canon was really, really cool. Where it's just like, yeah, he can really be anywhere. Like Uncle Grandpa can literally go anywhere, and he did. When you see the list of people that he went to see, that I really wish we could have seen. By the way, would have loved to have seen Dexter's Laboratory, Ed, Edd n Eddy. That would have been a lot of fun.
It. Like they gave them a little freedom in this episode to make the jokes, and I was really happy. Because for someone like me, they needed that level, and you described it as meta, and it kind of was. It was really funny in that way. We have Gus, Mr. Gus, I think, from their world.
Yes.
He knows about everything in the multiverse,
which makes sense. Because again, they're multi-universe beings-ish. So yeah, and he's just a fan, like a super huge fan of all these different beings in the multiverse. And also, you have Uncle Grandpa being in the first episode through a bumper that I'm 95% sure actually aired, not him interacting with them, but just generally having a bumper there.
That was one of my favorite jokes in the episode, because that
it actually happened.
Was indeed there.
Yeah.
And it was funny. He's like, don't you remember? And I'm like, wow, you jack. Fuck, that's good. Like, I had to give them that. Yeah, it's hilarious, the fact that they actually went through with that, because if you go back, continuity, the bumper was there. It really showed how creative the writers of the show can be, how they are, because they can not only just do this with Uncle Grandpa, but they can also parody their own characters, because you look at how over-the-top Pearl was in this episode, and it was amazing, where she still had Pearl-isms, but they were so over-the-top, where it's just, this is our new home! That's not my baby. If I remember correctly, that was one of the lines you loved early on. That's not my baby?
Yes, because that's completely Pearl. It's just over the top because they had the power, but it's completely Pearl. I mean, there's enough of this. Like, there's no way you can be like, that's not how Pearl would act. That is in spirit.
That is exactly
yes, she went
how
over
Pearl
the top.
would act.
It was over the top, so it was obviously made more dramatic. But in spirit, yes, that's not my baby. You are not my Steven. Would probably be the real sentence. But it was still wonderful. It was just done so well. Also, the whole idea of, like, quickly, we need a plot hole. And they just make a giant white hole that they jump through to get to another universe. I loved it. There was a lot.
I enjoyed his general, like the idea that he is like the super powerful being in the sense that he can do whatever. So he does his entrance, and then he turns around. He's like, "Wow, that guy knows how to make an entrance." It's like, all right, I see where this is going.
The only thing I have to say, which always, I didn't mention this to you, I think, or if I did, I think maybe I was agreeing with you. It was a very long time ago that we talked about Uncle Grandpa. But I want to mention the one thing that I think I wasn't a fan of that I can definitely see leaving a bad taste in someone's mouth, because it did for me. Just starting it off with him being dressed as Rose.
Yeah, it was kind of like a shot to everyone, I think. And
I don't know.
A mean-spirited thing.
No. I don't know. Like, I think maybe they thought it was funny, but I just didn't find it funny. So for me, I think it's because of all of, like, the stuff that's happened with Rose and everything, you know, and knowing that Steven, it's his mom, whatever. It was just, like, I know, like, Steven's like, hey, it's Uncle Grandpa, and he can enjoy it. So it's like, why should I be offended? But 10-year-olds can enjoy it, right? But still, it's actually his actual fucking mother. But yeah, it just threw me off, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and it always does when I watch it. But then again, they immediately redeemed themselves with the, don't worry, this isn't canon, but this is. Just pulled out an actual canon. Like, that will always get to me.
I was okay with that. That made me laugh.
Yeah, no, like, I think they immediately redeemed themselves, and they kept the joke load up so much that it's just, how about these bees?
Oh, yeah, the little Deidre ones. They were fun.
Yeah. Well, you want to try the bees again? Also, the whole, the idea of just where's Steven? Oh, he's just some weird guy. I think he's trying to, like, eradicate him or evaporate him. And also, it's like, what? And there's just a giant laser on Steven. That, or I'm a huge fan of the joke of, oh, is this safe? Don't worry, I'm protected. Like, even though he said I have a helmet, I love that joke so much whenever it's used. It was actually used in the Muppets recently, where I think, like, Doctor, I can't remember his name, he just, like, tasered Beaker. Mm-hmm. And Elson Kermit's like, is that safe? Yes, I'm wearing gloves. Oh, okay.
I love that kind of joke.
Yeah, you saw that one. I'm a huge fan. I forgot that you saw that episode.
Yeah, no,
what?
I like the Muppets. I really do.
I would podcast on the Muppets. We shouldn't, but I would.
I would podcast on the first 2 episodes because I think they did a really good job with this incarnation. But
oh man. But anyway, so yeah, cause all I can hear in my head is what? Gender is fluid. Or I don't think you didn't see the episode where it was Fozzie's girlfriend was like, I think like they were saying something about her, and so she looks at the Roach and she's like, you look like you're dressed to be in Boys to Men, because he had like a gold chain and like the black sweater, and she's like, you look like you're dressed to be in Boys to Men. He's like, oh, dress for the job you want.
That's great.
And I'm like, damn it, that's beautiful. Anyway, so back to the whole Steven Universe Uncle Grandpa thing. Hey, look, cutting through the plot. Cutting right back in.
The plot is advancing.
What?
I think he said something about the plot is advancing or something.
Yes.
And then it's like, something is happening.
That's what he said. He's like, would you wait for something to happen? The media starts happening. Something's happening. I also enjoyed the whole 40 or 50 vans.
Mm-hmm.
That was great, where it's just, this thing could hold, like, I don't know how many vans. He's like, no, only about 40 or 50. Boom, 40 or 50 vans.
Yeah, I laughed. It's like, I only have 2 rules.
Oh, yeah, nobody else named Steve. Because Pizza Steve is here to stay. I love Pizza Steve so much, and apparently Garnet did too. Not Garnet, Amethyst.
Yeah.
Apparently Amethyst loves Pizza Steve. Oh, my God, yeah. And she's, oh, God. Yeah, it was the Y thing will always make me laugh, no matter what. Out of all the jokes in this episode, I think the Y is my favorite. The Y thing will always... Yeah, no, I do that in real life now. I have to. Where like someone would point like to a sign, and I just point to the Y. I'm like, why? Because usually it's somehow relevant to the general theme of whatever the sign's asking or talking about. I'm just like, why? Because I can't not like that joke. The fact that the letters existed in real life. She was able to trip, let's say real time. Like, no, in real life, she trips over them, and she tripped over the Y.
Yeah,
I'm
Gravity
sorry.
Falls made a joke like that, too, if you remember.
Fight Fighters?
No. The episode with the Woodstock parody, and Stan and Super making the balloon, and it was going to say, I love kids.
H?
Yeah, the H fell down and speared him in the back.
Yeah. What the H?
Yeah.
I eat kids.
That was probably one of the... I remember being unable to breathe.
I thought the Ave Maria
kids.
joke... I thought the Ave Maria joke couldn't, like, be topped. And then I eat kids happened. And I had to immediately pause it and rewind. I could not do it. I was compelled after I started breathing again.
Yeah, it was I heart kids, and then the H and the R fell off. Yeah.
Yes. So, and then some of his teeth fell out as well. I believe. So it was a float. So like some of the teeth, I believe, fell out or something, or because it was on fire, it just looks worse. Is it going to kill us, Mommy? Or is it going to eat us, Mommy? It is, sweetie. It is. I just couldn't fucking. Oh my God! But jumping, we've done podcasts on Gravity Falls as well. But jumping back into this episode, yeah, Mr. Gus being a super fan, I think, was great because it really mirrored a lot of what people do. Not only making themselves, a gem as fans, but the ability that, like, he had the tablet right there, which is really cool because I don't have one, but I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, and
he had it connected.
Very common thing, artistic tablet.
Into Photoshop. Yeah, into Photoshop, too. So it was really, I mean, hell, even...
You couldn't do that another layer?
I was like, wow. It was...
If he did it another layer, it wouldn't have been as bad.
It wouldn't have been. Also, did not realize both shows had tigers. Really happy that they do, though. I don't know if that was a decision, like, as in, like, we both do have tigers. But I'm really, really happy that it was like, hey, we have tigers, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because they fit so well together that it was beautiful. But yeah, love the tigers because it's just like, hey, they're just hanging out, whatever.
Yeah, realistic looking tiger or something is his name?
Yes, that's his name. Hey, realistic tiger. Yeah, so, and then, we're kind of wrapping things up, interestingly enough. And yeah, I did think that the ending to this episode was really sweet. It's interesting to see that even though this wasn't canon, it still clearly did something that is canon. So, I mean, I did think that they had a recap or something in the next episode or in another episode to say, oh, yeah, it happened, but they didn't mention Uncle Grandpa, like most shows would do in a situation like this, where it's like, hey, it happened off screen. Or we're going to say it happened, but we don't mention Uncle Grandpa because none of that was canon.
Right, but he did learn how to use his shield.
He did. That is canon, interestingly enough. So that's something we take throughout the rest of the show that actually happened. We just don't know how, in theory, because, of course, the Uncle Grandpa stuff did not happen. According to them. I mean, it totally could have, and it would have made sense the way they described it. That's what I like, too. And it's like the Doctor Who thing, where, like, Doctor Who never makes sense, but then they'll try to explain it, and you're like, oh, through really weird, science-y, sometimes not science-y stuff, that works. That's a thing, right? Versus some other shows that we might watch where it's just, hey, this happened. You're going to fucking accept it. And we're like, oh, okay, thanks. So I really do like the idea that they went through with explaining some stuff that even if you're going to say, oh, no, the canon thing was a joke because, Uncle Grandpa is meta as fuck, I'm okay with that if it is canon. I'm hoping it wasn't. Like, at first I was hoping it wasn't. But now that it's like, oh, well, it was a sweet message. He did, from Uncle Grandpa, too, just talking to the kids directly was nice. What was it? He, him helping Steven with the shield was nice because I mean, Uncle Grandpa knows what to do. You know, he planned it. It wasn't an accident. He's a lot smarter. He's a lot smarter than he looks. He's a lot smarter than he looks.
Yeah, I mean, he is smart, and of course, he's a reality-bending being.
Yeah.
So he's got lots of powers.
But yes, yeah, it was a really fun episode. I think, like I said, it's strange to say this, but I think it was my favorite of the two. You know, of these two that we're talking about.
Yeah, it turned out to be better than I thought. I think I'm glad not watching it again, but I mean...
You're what?
I'm glad to not watch it again.
Really?
I'm glad I don't need to. Yeah, I mean, I don't... It happened, and it's cool, and it was better than I thought it would be, but...
So it wasn't funny? Like, it's interesting. Like, I found it hilarious.
No, I found a lot of the stuff... I still laughed at a lot of the jokes. I'm okay to leave it behind. Like, not like if we were hanging out and you were like, hey, you want to watch this again? I would do it. But I wouldn't willingly seek out this episode to watch again. Like, I'm not trying to put it down that much. I apologize.
No. That's it. No. Here's the thing. It's a weird concept for me because, like, when I watch something, unless it's to, like, either podcast or with friends, if it's on in the background, I'll put it on, but I never seek out something again just because I need it, usually. Because I have so much that I love. You know, you know me. The fans know what we podcast on. Usually, if you're not around or you're not able to do something, the constant is me talking about fucking something, right? The point is that I like a lot of stuff. So for me, it's hard to be like, oh, yeah, no, I need to watch this again and again and again and again, right? So that's why it's a weird concept. So I understand you completely. I get it. It's just different because I was confused because I was like, wait, like you wouldn't watch it? No, you're just saying, oh, I wouldn't seek it, but you know, because there are other episodes that you would really seek out and watch again without having to or without feeling like, oh, it's on in the background. No, you'd actually seek it out. Me, I don't really do that. You know?
I seek out and rewatch a lot of this stuff. That's why. Like, I rewatched a lot of these episodes.
Okay, yeah. No, I get that. I mean, I've rewatched them, but I don't seek it out, you know? So I get that. I totally get it. Because, like, you know, because for me, it's like, it's just so hard. I mean, even with, like, Monday Night Raw, with our 3-hour, well, not that we do 3-hour podcasts, but the show Monday Night Raw, if anyone doesn't know, it's a 3-hour show from 8 to 11. Even without commercials, it's 2 hours and 20. So if you tell me, hey, can't do Raw Monday live, I might wait to watch it. Because not only do I have to, you know, sit there and write notes and whatever and remember what notes that I wrote from a day or two ago or a week ago, but I have to give up 4 hours and 40 minutes.
I know how you feel, boss.
You know, even if it was an amazing show and it was the best Raw in 10 years, which can happen. It's a low probability, but it can happen. Still, man. You know, even if you want to say the first one was live, so it's 3 hours because commercials are included, so 3 hours, and then on the replay, without commercials, 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that's 5 hours and 20 minutes of my time gone. That's like about half of a Lord of the Rings film. I'm kidding.
I feel bad for that.
No, but seriously though, that's
a common usage of time.
Just half of a Lord of the Rings film. Oh, about a quarter past million. That's not Lord of the Rings. That's not Mjolnir's not Lord of the Rings. Please don't. Sci-fi and fantasy are different. But anyway, so yeah, we're at the end of our episode. But I get your point. Yes, you're good with it being gone, and if it popped up again, you don't have a problem with it, but you're not going to sit there and go, I need it in my life, which I get it, because I didn't sit there. Like, I don't need it either. I just watch it again and remember, wow, this is really fucking funny. That's all.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're at the end of our show. We'd like to thank you guys for listening to those guys. This one really breezed through, I think. It was nice. Made me happy. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm going to talk about all the different things that we do, as I always do. For any of you new listeners, hopefully you will be able to... I don't know what's wrong with my speaking right now. For any of you new listeners, I hope that you'll be able to, tune in some of the other stuff that we've done, both, podcasting-wise and Let's Play-wise. And anyone who isn't a new listener, stick around. You might hear something new. Because I'm going to do the completely unabridged version of what we've done. So we've done podcast-wise, you and I have done, and also some of our other hosts, we've done WWE Monday Night Raw, WWE pay-per-views. We've done Gravity Falls and Steven Universe, of course, as we're on Steven Universe right now. We've also done Dragon Ball Z, the anime, as well as the movies, as well as the OVAs or OAVs, basically specials, if that's the word you want to use. So we've done podcasts on those. Same thing for Bleach movies, Bleach OVAs, and for Dragon Ball movies, and OVAs. Also, right, we've done Pokemon video games, and when it comes to live-action stuff, we've done Arrow, Flash, Supernatural, Doctor Who, and we've also done Walking Dead, right? So those are the podcasts that we've done. You can find those on some of our social media accounts and our website being thoseguysonthe.radio.tumblr.com, our social media, which is Facebook /thoseguysonthe.radio, our Twitter @thoseguysradio, and our Instagram /thoseguysonthe.radio. Also, if you listen to your stuff through iTunes, if that's how you get your media, then definitely check us out on iTunes by searching up Those Guys. You'll find our little Those Guys picture there, and you can get all of our older stuff through that. We also are on YouTube, constantly updating our stuff with new videos of our podcasts. You can search up TGOTR, the channel TGOTR on YouTube, or Those Guys on the Radio. You should see our logo, and yeah, you'll be able to get all of our podcasts through there. Speaking of other podcasts, we have some stuff that is completely, thinking of the word, not private, they are exclusive podcasts, paid podcasts, that you can find through Bandcamp by searching up tgotr.bandcamp.com by being a wrestling fan. So if you're a wrestling fan, right, some of our paid podcasts are premium stuff, low price of $1, by the way, and our premium stuff, older stuff. So if you're a fan from 2000s, like mid-2000s, not old, right? So not like 91, but like old. So yeah, mid-2000s, we've done WWE SummerSlam 2005, as well as WWE Unforgiven 2005. And again, low price of $1. You can pay more if you want to support us, or if not, the $1 is fine. So you get some of our premium podcasts. Can't get those anywhere else. And, right, we brought up our YouTube before, YouTube being, again, TGOTR. We also have our Let's Play YouTube, where Satish and I and many others have played a lot of different varied games, and more on the way, of course. So our YouTube Let's Play channel is TGP, Those Guys Play. You can definitely find us on there. And, we've done a lot so far, and there's more to come. I mean, you and I, being wrestling fans again, we played WCW Mayhem for our first episode. And, we've had some other hosts on some of our other shows play, things like Luigi's Mansion, Hot Wheels Turbo Racing, Pets. The size not for Hot Wheels, the size for Pets Crazy Monkeys coming up next. We've done it already, but just in my head coming up. We've also played JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as well as Kamen Rider for the Super Nintendo, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle for the PS3. And, yeah, a lot more games on the way, and, of course, a lot of fun stuff. If you're a WWE fan, Satish and I have uploaded a lot of fun stuff from WWE 2K games. Satish Ram making a lot of entrances, different varied kooky entrances for a lot of the wrestlers. So, yeah, even if you're a lapsed fan, come check it out. It's really fun. And, of course, email us, thoseguysonthe.radio@gmail.com, if you want us to promote something of yours on our show, or if you want us to do a specific show and you want to say, hey, do this show, so you can do it through our website, or you can do it through our email. And, yeah. You know what's interesting? I've done the abridged version of this so much that when I try to do the longer version, it completely throws me off my game, and it's great.
We need to script it for you.
But that's the thing, I always have it scripted in my head because I've done the long version so much, right, that it's still there. But then I try to do the short version in a clinch, and I think my brain is now like, what? You want to access that information? Go fuck yourself. I'm like, hey, I need this. I need this really bad right now. Kind of doing the live thing. But anyway,
okay.
So yeah.
We're good.
So yeah. So here we are. We're at the end of our show. We'd like to, again, thank you all for listening in. And, you want to say anything before we end the show today?
No, I think we got through everything we need to. I'm pretty happy.
That's good. All right. So, good night, everybody. Say good night, Satish.
Good night, Satish.